Right, guys, shall we start? Okay, so welcome you to the lesson number 4 in our grade 12 syllabus. Guys, I hope you know the plan, right? So we have 2 classes, Tuesday and Wednesday. So Wednesday, it's all about grade 13, starting from management, right? And then, so today, Tuesday, live classes for the grade 12 pending areas. So then we'll be, accelerate our studies. Well, so tudes are on the way. Guys will receive those shortly. But at the same time, I shared the syllabus PDF with you, so you can check the relevant page there as well. So this particular tude that will be received along with another set of tudes, right? So lesson number 4, one of an important and one of a key area in your grade 12 syllabus is the types of business organization. ඉතින් මේක වගේ syllabus එකේ තියෙන ටිකක් ලොකු lessons වලින් එකක්, right? Like the trade lesson, the lesson number 7, this money and banking. Well, so there are similar structures that you need to study when you come to this particular lesson. You need to study what are the types of business organization. So what do you mean by an organization first? So then what's all about business organization? And what are the types of business organization? Actually, if you see, it's like a very standard format for all the topics, like the introduction, then what sort of a characteristics that we can see in that particular business organization, and what are the limitations of it, and how we can start such a business, and how to register, and also comparison. It's really important. Now, for example, a sole proprietorship business, how we can compare with the partnership, a partnership with the company. And most importantly, you have the company's years. So you'll be studying some aspects in the Companies Act number 7 of 2007, the types of companies and their characteristics, stuff like that. Correct. Well, so that's the, and also apart from that, you'll be studying some special businesses such as franchises and business combinations, stuff like that. Well, so I'm sharing my screen. So lesson number 4, types of business organization. So first we have to see what is meant by an organization. Organization. Correct. So guys, I hope you see my screen. So you can come to page number 79. I have shared the whole PDF with you. And also the important area I'll be sharing to the group as well through the snipping tool, right? I'll, get those screenshots as well. Right. Now, guys, first we have to see what is mean by an organization, a business organization. So not a business organization, an organization. Now, can you call yourself as an organization? No, because you're just a one individual person. But, now in this meeting, we have a set of students, and then we can call this as an organization. Then it's a collection of individuals. It's a group of individuals. Organization individuals like people it's a social unit. It's a social unit made up with a group of individuals. Very important, right? To call organization, so you need to have a set of people. And not only that, they need to have a common goal. Yes, now we all have a common goal, right? So I have a common goal to give you, help you to get a better result, right? So you have a goal to achieve your best, likewise. So we need to have a common goal. So then we can call as an organization. So school is an organization. There are a set of individuals. Students are there, parents, could be all boys, all girls, and the management, and then academic and non-academic staff, stuff like that, a set of people. And they have a common goal to provide a better quality education for you, right? The same goal, a common goal for everyone. Could be a temple or a church or shop. So if you are working for an organization, you will work towards to achieve the organizational objectives and goals. So we are talking about in our lesson number 1. Correct. Now moving to some of the characteristics. So I'm going to share you this as well. I'll share this explanation as a screenshot to your group as well, so you can further check that. Well, so now we are moving to the concept of what sort of a common characteristics that we can see in a formal organization, right? Formal organization. Now, guys, yes. Now, in order to call as an organization, you need to have a set of goals, maybe not just one goal. Most of the case, maybe has a goal, but having goals, right? So goal and goals should be having, and it should involve individuals, yes. And last but not least, you need to have a what? An organizational structure. You need to have an organizational structure. What do you mean by organizational structure? This we will be studying in more detail when you come to grade 13 management lesson. But you already know about this. Now, for example, if you think about your school, you have a structure there, right? You have, the head of the school, right? But as a principal. Then you have maybe vice principals, then deputies, right? And then maybe sectional heads, like grade heads, class teachers. So you have a structure. And even an organization, you may be having like a CEO or a managing director. Then you have like general managers, head of departments, likewise. In a country also there's a structure, right? Starting from maybe some countries have president, maybe the prime minister, stuff like that. So every organization need to have its organization structure, how this position, how the power goes, stuff like that. So you'll be having a detailed idea about the structures when you come to the grade 13 management lesson, right? Because there's a planning, organizing. So under the organizing, you'll be learning these stuff. But for this moment, just have an idea. Organization is having a set of structure. Well, so shall we highlight the stuff then? So you need to have a goal there, right? So having set of goals, you need to have set of individuals, because you cannot name or call yourself as an organization. You need to have a set of people. Well, so that's what you see, a common characteristics of an organizational structure, very important. And moving to that, guys, I'm going to give you the lesson plan. Now, these are the set of, now our topic is types of business organization. Now we have to see what types of business organization we'll be discussing. Now, here's the classification that we'll be discussing on this lesson. Well, now in the lesson number 1, yes, you have studied how you can classify business. Am I correct? So you are classifying business based on the objective, based on the profit. Based on the objective is the profit and non-profit, and based on the ownership, based on the nature of the production, then production sector, and then based on the scale as well. So here in your lesson, the lesson number 4, based on the business organization. So how do you classify a business organization? Based on the ownership. Now, if you remember lesson number 1, guys, based on the ownership, so you can mainly divide into 2, right? So mainly divide into 2, I would say private sector, yes, private sector business organization, and then you'll be having public sector business organization, or else you can name it as government sector, public sector. So whatever you name, so that's belongs to the general public, belongs to the government. And then, coming under the private sector, you'll be having sole proprietorships, which is the individual businesses. So where there's just one and only owner, sole proprietorship, or else individual businesses, sole traders. And then you have partnerships, where you have more than one owner, partnerships. And then we'll be studying about companies, so we know as incorporated companies. And then you'll be learning about cooperative societies. I know this is something new for you, but yes, we have a topic, cooperative societies. So these are the 4 types of business organization we'll be studying under the private sector. And once we're done, we'll be moving to the public sector businesses. Here you have businesses under central government. So if you are familiar with the lesson number 3, which we have covered, the government that you are dividing or classifying into 3 types. Or lesson number 3 එක මතක නම් අපි එකේ government එක කොටස් 3කට බෙදනවා. Central government, provincial council. So we have 9 provincial councils, and then the local authorities, or as the local government. Town council, Pradesh Sabhas all belong to the local authority. දැන් අර මේ දවස්වල ඡන්දයක් තියන්න යන්නේ පුංචි ඡන්දය කියලා කියන්නේ. ඒක තමයි local authorities වලට members ලව appoint කරන්න යන්නේ, right? Correct. So business under the provincial councils, and then businesses under local areas. Now, if you remember that lesson, guys, we don't have much businesses when it comes to provincial councils, local authorities. They do have like rental properties, like kind of businesses. But the central government, they have a set of businesses. We'll be studying about departments. Yes, departments. So they are like health department, agriculture department, most importantly, education department, your examination department. And then you have state corporation, like state pharmaceutical corporation, steel corporation, stuff like that. And then you have state companies as well. The companies belongs to government. The major shareholder is the government. So that's what we call the state companies. Now, apart from that, guys, we'll be studying about franchises as well, and also the business combinations. But this will be the basic structure of your lesson. So I'm gonna share with this as well. Now, our very first topic start with the private sector business organization, and then we'll be starting with the sole proprietorships. Sole proprietorships. Now let's talk about sole proprietorship businesses. It's very easy, as the the name suggests, team, right? So this is all about where the business is held by a single individual, or there's only one owner. Correct. So when it comes to this, now, like I explained, that අපි මේ topics කතා කරද්දී, guys, last set of subtopics that we'll be discussing, like the characteristics, right? Kind of a first definition, then like characteristics, then I would say advantages of having a sole proprietorship, then like limitations, I would say, and how to register, stuff like that. So these will be the set of common subtopics that we'll be discussing under each type of business organization. Now this explains where are the ownership. So this is sole proprietorships. Sole proprietorship business, where the ownership of the business is held by a single individual. It is called as a sole proprietorship businesses. Correct. So ගොඩක් වෙලාවට මේ sole proprietorship business එකට දාන්න මේක මොන හරි ඒ නමක්ම තමයි ගොඩක් වෙලාවට දාන්නේ. Right? So then like we can easily recognize. So like here a couple of examples: Chanuli Super Center, Dasata Bookshop, Imalka Salon, likewise. We'll be discussing, but so most of the businesses that you see belongs to one owner, where we name those as sole proprietorship business. Very easy, there's only one owner, so that's how you can explain. But moving forward, we'll be studying a couple of unique characteristics as well. So let's move to that part. So now we're going to discuss what sort of important characteristics that we can see. Well, now, guys, the very first thing, as you know, since there's only one owner, The owner provides the capital required on his own. There's no one else to provide you that money. So because you are the one and only owner, so you need to make sure that you provide all the capital by yourself. And then it's like, my car, my petrol, no? So all the managerial decisions are made by the owner. He does not need to ask any approvals, right? Ask permission, nothing, right? So what he believes that, what sort of a good decision, so he has that freedom to take. So all the managerial decisions are made by the owner. And then there's another important thing called the unlimited liability of the owner. What do you mean by that? So I'm going to put a star mark for that because it's really important to understand. Unlimited liability. You might have heard about this concept. Now, let me tell you a story. Now, let's say I'm going to start. Let's say I've already started a business. I have a sole proprietorship business. And also I have taken some loans as well from the bank, and I have some payments to be made for my suppliers. But let's say somehow now I'm bankrupt, right? Mama bankulot vela tiyena mage business ekin. Imagine like that. So I have taken loans from the bank. Mama bankuwen loan aran tiyena, mama suppliers lata gewanna tiyena, e wage deyak. Hari. Eතකොට then I have no way to pay back to the bank. So I go to the bank. මම බැංකුවට ගිහලා කියනවා මෙහෙමයි. දැන් හිතන්න මේ දවස්වල ගොඩක් එහෙම business වෙලා තියෙනවා නේද? දැන් අපි බැලුවොත් COVID දවස්වල still, right? Like tourism business, there are very good friends I know. Because the tourism was at like top, if you consider like 2019, early 2019, 28, the very good business. So a lot of my friends have invested there, leased vehicles, purchased property, stuff like that. But, right after the Easter incident and then after the COVID, so a lot of difficulties, and still they are facing difficulties. So now they are unable to pay, their leasing installment, their bank loan, stuff like that. So let's say, so as an individual business, so let's come back to my story. So then I go to the bank and tell, here, let's say I'm going to meet the credit officers. I'm telling the fact that here I don't have any way to pay my debt. Right? මට මේ loan එක ගෙවන්න විදිහක් නැහැ කියලා කියනවා. So then මම කියන හරියම I have some assets. මගේ business එකේ assets. Maybe I'll sell and I'll settle some part. Do you think that they agree for that? Do you think? And also I tell my suppliers the same. කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. මේ තියෙන amount එක ගෙවන්න වෙන්නේ නැහැ කියලා. Right? What do you think? Is that something they will accept? What do you think, guys? What do you think? Yes or no? So the bank is like, okay, no problem, right? Are they gonna tell like that? Or hambuna velawaka gewanna? No. The answer is clear no. Because my types of business organization is an individual business. I have an unlimited liability towards my outstanding, which means if in case if in case we are in a situation that I'm unable to pay my debts or settle my debts, I have even to sacrifice my personal assets as well to settle those. ඒකනේ සමහර ඔයගොල්ලෝ අර දකින්න නේද මිනිස්සු කියන මම බලන්න අපේ ගෙවල් දොරවල් ඉඩ කඩම් පාවා විකුණලා අපි අන්තිමට මේවා සෙටල් කරන්න උනා කියලා කියනවා. So remember the fact that එහෙනම් මොකක්ද වෙන්නේ? Unlimited liability කියලා කියන්නේ you have to even now if in case you are unable to දැන් මෙහෙමයි guys, now you have to think this. දැන් හිතන්න loan එක අපි තමු let's say 2 million loan එකක් කියලා. එතකොට ඔයාට properties there can all business properties enough නම් ඒක pay කරන්න no issue. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයාලා business now I'm trying to shut down my business. So let's say I have my hotel there. So there's a land and the properties there. Let's say some van also there, right? A vehicle. So මොකද කරන්නේ? ඒතර ඒ ටික විකුණලා මට settle කරන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම පුළුවන් නම් no issue. But let's say my liabilities are beyond that. So which means my assets not sufficient to settle. හිතන්න මගේ එතන property එකයි vehicle එකයි ඔක්කොම let's say I have 5 million loan, 5 million. එතන ඔක්කොම කරලා මට ගන්න පුළුවන් let's say 3 million, only 3 million. On a property එකක් විකුණා, vehicle එකක් විකුණා, I got only 3 million. But I have outstanding 5 million. එහෙනම් මම අර 3 million ගෙවන. ඒතකොට තව 2 million. එතකොට ඉතුරු 2 million වලට I cannot tell the fact that so this is what I got by selling all my business asset and this is how much I can pay. They will not accept that. For the rest of the 2 millions, I have to sacrifice my personal assets or maybe from my personal savings or any other personal property. So I have somehow, to clear those outstanding. Clear? So that's what we know as the unlimited liability. So my liability is not gonna limit to the amount I invested. Then mama invest කරපු amount එකට ඒක limit වෙනවා නම් of course maybe I should be able to just settle from my assets. And assets මදි වෙනවා නම් I will have to even sacrifice my personal assets. So that's the meaning of the unlimited liability. And again, there's a concept called limited liability, which applies for a company. So I'll come to that part when you come to the limited liability. Right. So I hope you are clear with that concept. So I'm gonna provide you an explanation regarding that. Right? I'll explain everything. Then I'll send you a explanation as well, so you can write what do you mean by the unlimited liability. But put a star mark on there. And then the individual businesses, not a legal entity. Now, what do you mean by legal entity? Guys, legal entity means the fact that, when you come to legal matters, your business. So before courts, your business, for any legal matters, the law will recognize your business as a person. That's the legal entity. But individual businesses, partnerships, they do not have the legal entity, whereas I need to represent as the owner. I will have to represent my business. The court will not identify my business as a legal person. Now, what does it mean? Let's say, if you are a company, now company is having this legal entity. So if you have a company, you can purchase assets, right, on the company's name. Company ke namata assets ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒතර ඔයාගේ personal number නෙමෙයි තියෙන company ke නමට තමයි. සමහරවිට ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැකලා තියෙයි පාරදී එක එක හිස් ඉඩම් වලම ගහලා තියෙන. This property belongs to ABC Private Limited. This property belongs to this bank maybe sometime, right? Which means you can purchase asset, using the company's name. Company ke namata assets ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ වගේම you can enter into contracts, agreements, by using the company's name. Use kind of company. You can issue checks, company. You can pay taxes even, right? And let's say somebody wants to sue the company. Or are we doing legal action? Company if you want to take an action against Cargill's company, Cargill's right? To the Cargill's company, likewise. So because why? Those companies have a legal entity. But when you come to partnerships and then individual businesses, they do not have the legal personality, whereas I will have to represent the courts. So any legal matters, the owner will have to represent. The court will not recognize the business as a legal person. Clear? Even the tax I had to pay from my personal name. So that's when you come to the legal personality. So remember that individual businesses, they do not have the legal personality. And if you want to take a legal action against an individual business, you have to use the owner's name. Owner ge namata thamai you can sue or maybe to be sued, right? They come back. Legal action එකක් ගන්නත් ඔයාට එරෙහිව legal action එකක් ගන්නත් you have to use your name, right? But companies, they can use the company's name. So the owners not belong to the owner's personal name. Clear? And remember the fact that, guys, so when it comes to this one, they're not a legal entity. Registration is not compulsory. Registration is not compulsory. But there is one condition. Right? I'll come to that part because that's a separate topic for you to the steps of the registration. But let me explain here. But there is a one condition. Let me explain the condition, guys. The condition says if you conduct your business using the full name, now you have individual business. So if you conduct your business using your full name, then it's not mandatory to register. But if you are using any different name or part of your name, then it's compulsory to register under the business name ordinance number 6 of 1980. Now let me explain. දැන් මේ law එකත් 1918 හිතන්න නේද? දැන් 1918 කියන්නේ අවුරුදු 100කටත් වඩා පරණයි. 1918. 105ක් වගේ දැන් නේද? හරි. එතකොට so remember this fact. Now let me tell you. දැන් ඔයා හිතන්න ඔයාගේ full name එක පොඩ්ඩක්. Your full name. සමහර ඉස්සරහට කැලේ තියෙන්න පුළුවන්, middle name තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. Now do you ever think that is there any possibility? Is there any possibility that to have another person who's having the same full name? I'm pretty sure mage full name එක එන්න කවුරුත් නැහැ කියලා I'm pretty sure. Right? What do you think, guys? So I හිතනවා ඔයාගේ full name එකෙන් මම කවුරු හරි ඉඳීවි කියලා. What do you think? What do you think? So I'm not going to ask your full name, right? But do you ever think that there could be somebody else who's just exactly having your full name? What do you think? I mean, for some very rare consider there could be then some other than ගොඩක් common surnames වගේ තියෙද්දි but ගොඩක් වෙලාවට තියෙන middle name තියෙන සමහර ඉස්සරහට ගිය කෑලි නේද මොනාර නේද ගමරාලලාගේ හරිනවා නේද ආචාර්යලාගේ ඔම දිනානේ එක එක ඒවත් එක්ක මැද කෑලි එහෙම ගොඩක් આવොත් so very rare chance නේ full name but now we are talking about 1918 දැන් මේක 1918 වල law එකක් එතකොට කොහොමත් ලංකාවේ population එක වල හිතා ගන්න පුළුවන් නේ හරි දැන් මොකක්ද මේකේ තියෙන logic එක මේක logic එක තමයි ඉතින් හරිනේ you are a unique person දැන් ඔයාට නම් මේ business එක ආйти ඔයාත් මේ business එක කරගෙන you are using a full name then why you need to register no need right because you are already a registered person ඔයාගේ නම ඔයාට unique නේ likewise so that's the logic behind that so because most of the students they do not know what's the logic behind that right so why this condition is there the condition is if you are conducting business using your full name you don't have to register because why your full name is unique to you but if you conduct the business using a part of name or any different name then you will have to register of course so that's the condition but we usually say registration is not compulsory so registration is not compulsory but remember there is a condition now there's a condition here like I said neither so your car your petrol which is enjoy profits and losses alone yes I think profits තනියම වගේම losses along තමයි yeah remember that fact profits faces risk along right so you have to get that risk so just because you enjoy the profit loss එකත් ඉතින් තනියම තමයි share කරගන්න වෙන්නේ right and also risk you know conducting a business is always a risk and then no continuity what do you mean by that when it comes to companies there's a continuous existence now if you think about companies like you know like Cargill's John Keel's like Haley's like Commercial Bank they have a history of more than 100 years මේ company අර අපි කියන්නේ සුද්දයි කාලේ ඉඳන්ම පටන් ගත්ත companies අදටත් තියෙනවා සමහර company වල 50 60 මේ වගේ so what's the message there's a continuous existence ඒතර මේකේ founders සමහර අද ජීවතුන් අතරත් නැහැ මේකේ ඕන initial owners but companies there but individual businesses වලට අපි කියනවා there's no continuous existence why because it's all depend on the owners because there's one single owner if the owner decide to shut down the operations then there's no continuity if the owner decide to shut down all the business and maybe again starting a job there's no business if the owner decide to sell all the properties and migrate to another country so like we see now a lot of people you know trying to migrate and already migrated right so because of this country situation in that manner. Yes. So maybe they decide to sell all the properties because it's happening right now, right? Most of the business, they sell all the properties and mine. So then there is no business. Remember that. So there is no continuous existence, and maybe owner will retire, owner will think now it's enough, so I'm gonna retire, or maybe death of the owner or any illness or a sick that could impact the business. But it doesn't impact a company, right? Because what I'm trying to explain you by giving you a very comparison view, so then you can easily understand these concepts, right? Because if you study this lesson by comparing all the business organization, so it's gonna really help you. Even we have not still started companies, but I'm telling you, companies have a continuous existence. දැන් කාර්ගිල්ස් එකේ ඕන චේන්ජ් වුණා කියලා ඕන රට ගියා කියලා ඊළඟ දවසේ කාර්ගිල්ස් බිස්නස් එක වහලා තියන්නේ නැහැ, right? Will operate no matter how. And remember, but when you come to individual business, there is no continuity. Why? The continuity depend on the owner. So if we can write, so continuity depend on the owner. Yes, you don't have to write automate in a screen. I'm going to provide you the tune, right? You have to listen well and get the points. Our next point, accounting is not compulsory. Accounting, even the auditing, the both accounting and auditing, guys. So remember this fact. When it comes to a company, yes, as per the Companies Act number 7 of 2007, if you are studying accounting, you know this fact, then it's compulsory to have accounting, right? You need to hire an accountant and a team to give them the facilities to have this accounting function if you are a company. But sole proprietorship accounting is not compulsory. It's your choice. It's better you have the accounting, right? So then you can take better decision and you can have an overall idea about the company. I don't need to explain the benefits of accounting. But remember, it's not compulsory. අනිවාර්යෙන්ම accounting කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා එකක් නැහැ. Correct? So remember that as well. And our next point is not liable for the taxes in the name of the business. Remember that, guys. Or business එකේ නමින් tax pay කරන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. Right? So you can, because what happened here is, if you have a sole trader business, if you have a partnership business, the profit that you earn from the business or the profit share that you get from a partnership business will add you to your personal income. So then you will be paying personal tax. If you are liable for the personal income tax, you will be paying. But you don't have to pay taxes as an organization. And a business again, nothing tax pay කරන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. But when you come to company, there's a company taxation. If you remember lesson number 3, there's a direct tax called cooperative tax. That company tax comes under that. The income tax company tax. So then they will have to pay using the business name. But individual, and also this applicable to the partnerships as well, you don't have to pay taxes using your business name, right? So all the profit that you earn will be part of your personal income, and if you are exceeding that level, you will have to pay. Correct. So these are the set of characteristics, guys, that you can see in an individual business. I hope you are clear about that, right? So what I'm gonna do now, like I told you, I'm gonna share you explanation regarding this unlimited liability, so that you can have a note, right? That you can have a note. Unlimited liability. What do you mean by unlimited liability? So remember, this both applicable to a individual as well as partnerships as well. Yes, guys, so shall we have an idea about this? Sorry, sir, not this one, not this one. So unlimited liability refers to the full legal responsibility that business owners and partners, because why? This applicable to sole proprietorship as well as partnership both. Assume all business debts. They are responsible for all the debts, no matter how. So that's what they will have to sacrifice the personal assets as well. So please have a note of it. Unlimited liability. ඉතින් මේකෙම අපි limited liability කියන්නේත් limited liability කියන්නේ එයා මේක අනිත් පැත්ත. Whereas you'll be only held responsible for the amount you invested. Right? ඒ ගැන අපි වෙනම කතා කරමු when it come to the company's part. Well, and for that, I'm sharing some additional point as well. This one no need. Guys, shall we add this as well? So unlimited liability typically exists in a general partnerships. General කියන වචනේ අවශ්‍ය නැහැ in partnerships, right? Partnerships and sole proprietorship. So it indicates the whatever debt accrues within a business, whether the company or whether the business company ගැන අපි අයින් කරමු, whether the business is unable to repay or defaults on its debt, each business owner is equally responsible and their personal wealth very important. එනම් business එකේ assets මදි නම් මේක settle කරන්න ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ personal wealth could reasonably cease කියන්නේ ඒවා sacrifice කරන්න වෙනවා to cover the balance. දැන් මම අර කිව්ව example එක, දැන් මගේ loan එක 5 million. හැබැයි මගේ business එකේ ඔක්කොම properties උත් sell කරලා මට ගන්න පුළුවන් 3 million විතරයි නම් ඉතුරු 2 million I will have to sacrifice from my personal assets, right? එහෙම නැතුව මට තියෙන 3 million මෙච්චරයි මට assets විකුණලා ගන්න පුළුවන් උනේ කියලා කියන්න බෑ. Right? It is not limited to your business assets. You have a responsibility beyond your business assets. Correct? They will be personally liable. So please have this as well. I'm gonna share this. මේක තමයි අලුත් දේවා මෙතන lesson එකේ ඉගෙන ගන්න. අනිත් ඔක්කොම ලොකු issue එකක් නැහැ. Right, guys. So are we clear about this concept? Any questions up to this moment? All clear? All good? Why you all are silent? Okay, understood. Right. Well, so now with that, we are moving to our next concept. Let's see what we have. So with that, guys, yes, our next topic is what sort of advantages and limitations that having when it comes to this business organization. එහෙනම් මම කියවනේ හැම type එකකම තියන්නේ every coin has its own two sides නේ. දැන් හැම දෙයකම ඉතින් වාසිය අවාසිය තියෙනවා. right? හැම දෙයකම වාසිය අවාසිය තියෙනවා. හරි. අපි දැන් බලමු. Well, let's see what sort of advantages of a sole proprietorship business. මොනවාගේ advantages. Now let's say that You want to start a business right after your A levels. So let's see your advantages. Easy to initiate. Easy to initiate. Yes. Because why? It's like I said, your car, your petrol, you can easily start. You don't have to ask permission or stuff like that. Very easy to initiate. Start karana lazy. And all the profits belong to you, right? Because you're the one and only owner. You don't have to share the profit with anyone else. And ability of independent decision. Now, if you are a person who like to be independent, because there are some, personalities, right? Work as an independent. Independent character. So if you are an independent character, yes, this is the best types of business organization which suits you. So you can make independent decision. You don't have to get an approval. The board of directors approval permission. Right? What you think that it suits, you can take the decision. And there are very less rules and regulations are applicable. The fewer rules and regulations are applicable. Exactly, right? Fewer rules and regulations are applicable. Which means the legal aspects. Then explain companies will godak rules palapana, right? Companies will have. Remember that the sole proprietorship having a limited rules and regulations. The ability of keeping the business information confidently. Yes, maybe you have some business secrets, maybe a secret recipe, a secret formula for some good. So in that manner, exactly, you can keep it with you, right? Because if you are a company or a partnership, probably you'll have to, I would say, share that, right? So then we don't have to share if you have a kind of a secret formula, secret recipe. So you can keep it with yourself, all the business secrets. And termination, guys, what do you mean by the termination? Right? So termination of the business is convenient. Termination can dissolution kina adahasa. Dissolution kina adahasa, business is convenient. And the possibility of maintaining direct relations with the customers, exactly direct relations with the customers. And the control also, it's very convenient, right? Or the policy, because it's a kind of a business. Right, so can we have an idea about these advantages? Right? Ability of the independent decision making, fewer rules, stuff like that. Correct. Now, like I said, there are limitations. Now, shall we have a look at the limitations? So there are some limitations of sole proprietorship businesses. There are some limitations. Yes, now remember this, kids. Now remember this. Advantages, disadvantages, limitations, characteristics. So, some characteristics give you some benefits. Some characteristics give you some limitations. Now, we talk about this unlimited liability. Now, do you think is that a good thing? What is your opinion? So, having a unlimited liability, is that a good thing? Is that a good thing for you? What do you think? Is that a good thing, having unlimited liability? No, right? No, of course. Not having a legal personality obviously will give you a limitation. So then, yes, so now we are going to discuss the limitations. The unlimited liability of the owner. The unlimited liability of the owner. The problems, the difficulties will increase when needed the additional capital. Exactly. Right? The problems, the difficulties will increase. Because why? You are the person who needs to provide all the things. There's no one else to provide you the capital. Right? Either you have to use your savings or you have to take the bank loans. Right? There's no one else. You cannot issue shares. You cannot ask other partners to, contribute for the capital. So it's going to limit it because why? you are the only person who needs to provide that thing. And then possibility of the decisions made by the owner himself being unsuccessful. Yes, the possibility of the decision made by the owner himself being unsuccessful. Yes, sometimes we know our දැන් සමහරට කියන්නේ අර තනි තීරණ වැරදෙන්නත් පුළුවන් කියලා කියනවා. ඉතින් මෙහෙමයි වැරදිත් අපි ඉගෙන ගන්නවා. Yes, there could be some instances guys මේ අපි කියන්නේ දැන් if you take an individual decision there's some chance, right? You're ending up with unsuccessful thing. Now let me explain. Because why? Now if you try to find a solution as a team, now let's say you have like 5 to 6 teams. So the people will come up with different points. You can order pain as a pain. So they are seeing the same problem with a different angle, different perspective. Clear? So they have different opinions, different feedbacks, different suggestions for the same issue. Likewise. I think any sapikino samadara. I can samada decision again. I can't have a kurutmana way the Itan Megan, they mahana the decision again samada. It's a apita hitan nasida when I can hit and the pull. Likewise. Taking can and if that owner is a decision ganna hilla. So the point is sometimes the individual decision end up with some unsuccessful things as well. Sapi Tanema Gana Tirana Samata Varadina chance a good theatre. Sapre yo bega parade decision negati. Likewise. The possibility of the decisions being unsuccessful because those are all by ourselves. And not a legal entity. I have explained this point. Yes, not a legal entity. And no continuity, guys. No continuity. It should be no continuity, right? No continuity. No continuity. Which means I explained this fact where it's all depend on the owner, right? Owner migrate, owner death, owner retire. Make a balapana business sector. Management being inconvenient with the expansion of the business, exactly because you are the only person who manage. So in that manner, when you try to expand the business, you will find very difficulties to manage the business. And also, last but not least, bearing the losses along as well. So we talk about this, right? In our losses sort of Taniyama Daraganna Vena Mukaditing then profits. So if you are enjoying profits along in a Alabelabua thought of Egataniyama Visadaganna Vena. Correct. So are we clear about this stuff? Bearing losses along. Bearing losses along. Okay, right. So that's about the limitations. Now we are coming to the registration part. So how we can register a sole proprietorship business, right? Registration. Now my question, is that compulsory? Is that compulsory to register? Is that compulsory? No. But with the condition, right? You know the condition. The condition is unless you know, as far as you conduct the business using the full name, yes. Then you don't have to, but if you use any other name, then yes. If a sole proprietorship business is carried on a name, very important, other than the full name of the owner, then it's compulsory to register the business name in the Provincial Council's Provincial Business Name Registrar under the Business Name Ordinance number 6 of 1980. On the practical note, this registration can be performed at the relevant divisional secretariat office of the area. A very important point, team. Remember that fact. හරි මේ බලන්න ඔන්න දැන් නම් ගොඩක් වෙලාට ඉතින් ඔයාට ඔයාගේ full name එකෙම මේක use කරන්න යන ගොඩක් වෙලාට so you'll be using part of your name or any different name. So then it's compulsory, right? So what is the process? The applicable law is the Business Name Ordinance number 6 of 1980. Very important. මොකක්ද law එක? Business Name Ordinance Act number 6 of 1980. Correct? Right. You know, you have to go to the Provincial Business Council. හැබැයි ඒ කියන්නේ පළාතේ තියෙන එක. හැබැයි practically ඔයාට එතනට යන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. You can go to the Divisional Secretary Office. අපි කියන්නේ AG office එක සමහර අපි නැත්නම් අපි වෙන ප්‍රාදේශීය ලේකම් කාර්යාලය. ඔයගොල්ලෝ මේ වචන අහලා ඇති. ප්‍රාදේශීය ලේකම් කාර්යාලය. ප්‍රාදේශීය ලේකම් කාර්යාලය. නැත්නම් අපි ගොඩක් වෙලාවට use කරනවා AG office එක කියලා කියනවා. right? AG office මම දැන් නැත්තම දන්නේ මොකද AG කියලා කියන්නේ. AG office එක කියලා කියනවා. හරි. So Divisional Secretariat office එකට යන්න පුළුවන්. Remember. So that's the place you have to go and do the registration. ඉතින් මෙතන තමයි ඔයාලට අර BR නේද? ගොඩක් අය මේක අහලා ඇති. business වෙලාවට use වෙන BR එකක් තියෙනවා. ගොඩක් අය bank loan එකම ගන්න යද්දී අහනවා BR එකක් තියනවාද කියලා. which is the business registration. හරි. ඉතින් you can go to this provincial council. The business name registrar මම ඔයාලට එතනත් පෙන්නනවා. it's in නුගේගොඩ. හැබැයි ඉතින් හැම දැන් කොළඹ ඇවිල්ලා හැමෝටම මෙතනට යන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැනේ. දැන් අපි තුමු දැන් western province එක ගත්තොත් අනිත් පැත්තෙන් මේ පැත්තෙන් නිගම්බ ගම්පහ අනිත් පැත්තෙන් කළුතර ඉතින් එතකොට ඒ හැමෝම මෙතනට එන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ අදාළ divisional secretary office එකට එන්න පුළුවන්. Right, I'll show you this western province office. The business Department of Business Name Registration Central Province office එකට එන්න පුළුවන්. ඉතින් එතන ළඟ කෙනෙක් නම් එතනට එන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. ඔයගලන්ට ළඟම තියෙන ප්‍රාදේශීය සභාවට යන්න පුළුවන්. Now here you can see the Department of Business Names Registration Western Province, right? The Western Province. ඉතින් මෙතන තියෙනවා කොහොමද registration process එක මම ඒක වෙනම explain කරන්න. How you can apply the application form මේ ඔක්කොම ඔයාලට තියෙනවා online ගන්න පුළුවන්. මෙතන තියෙනවා මෙතන here regulating and coordinating all the business name registration. ඉතින් මෙතනම කියනවා people are given the opportunity to register their business names through the respective divisional secretary office as well. එතකොට මෙතනටම යන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. right? කාට යන්න පුළුවන්? divisional secretary office වල නමුත් මම හිතන්නේ දාලා ඇති මෙතන. ඒ අදාළ තැනට යන්න පුළුවන්. ලේසිනේ එතකොට. දැන් හිතන්න කවුරු හරි සම්මානීසි ඉන්න පාදුක්ක. එතකොට පාදුක්ක ඒ පාදුක්කේ ඉන්න කෙනෙක් මේ කොළඹට එන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. යාට divisional secretary office පාදුක්කට යන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ වගේම අපිට මොකෝ හරි ගම්පහ ඉන්න කෙනෙක් ගම්පහ යන්න පුළුවන්. right? කළුතර අපි හිතමු කවුරු හරි ඉන්නවා දොඩංගොඩ. දොඩංගොඩ එක්කිනාට කොළඹ එන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. they can go to divisional secretary office of දොඩංගොඩ. ඉතින් ඔය විදිහට correct යන්න පුළුවන්. So are we clear about this stuff? I'm going to share you the link as well of this website so you can check this out. හරි. ඉතින් ඕක තමයි department එක. But remember practically ඔයාට එතනටම යන්න අවශ්‍ය නැත. right? හරි. දැන් අපි බලමු මොකද්ද මේකේ process එක කියලා මම ඒගාම explain කරන්නම්. මේ තියෙන ඔයාට I think මේකට application එක ඕන මේකට application එකක් අවශ්‍යයිනේ. application එකක්. ඉතින් ඔයාට divisional secretary office එකට ගිහලා application එකක් ඉල්ලන්නත් පුළුවන්. ගිහලා මට මේ business එක register කරන්න application එකක් දෙන්න එක මේගොල්ලෝ දෙනවා. එතනට යන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. අද ඔයාලට ඉන්ටර්නෙට් එකෙන් download කරන්න පුළුවන්. මේ තියෙන්නේ application for a individual, application for a partnerships ඒ වගේම. ඊට පස්සේ සමහරට අර ඔයාගේ නම වෙනස් කරන්නත් පුළුවන් application form making changes to registered business. මොනවා changes කරනවා නම් ඒවත් සාර business නම cancel කරනවා ඒ වගේ දේවලුත් කරන්න පුළුවන්. හරි. okay අපි බලමු කොහොමද මේ process එක වෙන්නේ කියලා. So I'm going to download this application form. Let's see. So this is this kind of application. What is the application එක fill කරන්න වෙනවා. Right, the name of the business, your general nature of the business මොනවාද ඔයාගේ business එක salon එකක්ද ඒක tailor shop එකක්ද ඒක computer service center එකක්ද ඒක communication එකක්ද ඒක education institute එකක්ද ඒක medical center එකක්ද ඒක dental එකක්ද ඒක pet care එකක්ද, right? So and so there are so many businesses. You have to tell the general nature, but remember this team, guys. මේක හොඳට මතක තියාගන්න. Based on the nature of the business, sometimes they can ask for some additional documents as well. That is based on the nature of the. දැන් හිතන්න education institute එක start කරන්න ගියොත් ඒගොල්ලෝ අහනවා මොනවද ඔයාලට අපි හිතමු preschool එකක් කියලා. ඔයාලට තියෙන මොනවද qualification ඒ වගේ කවුද මේකේ staff එක. දැන් හිතනවා pharmacy එකක් start කරන්න. So pharmacy also can be started as a individual business. So in that case they asking whether you have a pharmacist license. Pharmacist license එකක් නැතුව අර pharmacy එකක් start කරන්න බෑ. Likewise ඊට පස්සේ medical center එකක්, dental එකක්, pet care එකක්, මම අර කිව්වා ayurvedic center එකක්. What else? That normally නිකන් grocery එකක් ඒවට මොනාරි එහෙම අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. ඒ වගේ මොනාරි liquor bar එකක් වගේ නෑ. අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම liquor permit එක තියෙන්න ඕනේ ඒ වගේ. There are some special kind of businesses you require, they will ask for some additional documents, right? But normally නිකන් මොනාරි සපත්තු විකුණන්න මොනාරි ඒ වගේ දෙයකට ඒ ස්පෙෂල් දෙයක් අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. Even salon also I think now they monitor, so you need to have kind of a certification proof. But other than normal grocery shops, සිල්ලර කඩ ඒවට එහෙම ස්පෙෂල් මේ එකක් අවශ්‍ය නැහැ, right? දැනට අවශ්‍ය නැහැ මම දැන් ඉස්සරහට එමු විදි කියලා. But මම අර කිව්ව businesses වලට they surely ask for those additional documents as well. So ඒකත් පොඩ්ඩක් මතක තියාගන්න. So then your main business location they'll be asking about. So this is how you need to fill this. මෙච්චරම ඔයාගේ exam එකේ දහන්න, but I'm going to give you some practical aspects of this. If you have any branch or warehouse, you have to mention and you have to the date of the commencement of the business, call the business එක start කරේ කියලා ඔයාලා දාන්න වෙනවා. Full name here, full name of the owner. අතර full name of the owner ඊට පස්සේ එතනින් අහනවා business එකේ name එක. ඒතර මේ දෙක same නම් අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. But probably ඉතින් ඔයාගේ full name එක use කරන්නේ නැහැ නේ business එකට, so probably this is a different name. So then you have to register. ඒ වගේම if any previous name of the owner ඒවත් fill කරනවා. ඒ වගේ general ටිකක් ඔයාගේ NIC, nationality of the owner, ඉතින් ඔය වගේ දේවල් කරලා ඉතින් ඔක්කොම හරි නම් මේගොල්ලෝ මේක check කරනවා. Correct. And also there is a small fee as well, but as I remember මම දන්නේ දැන් නම් fees කොහමද කියලා. මීට අවුරුදු 3කට කලින් මම අහන්න දෙයක්දී ඒගොල්ලෝ කිව්වා රුපියල් 500ක් වගේ පොඩි මුදලක් මේක ආය කරනවා. I don't know about the charges now, but in those days it was just 500 rupees. Here, as you see the business registration, the business name registration, right? So you can check this out. හරිත බලමු මොකද process එක කියලා. ඊට අමතරව guys you need to have some ග්‍රාම නිලධාරි certificate as well. ග්‍රාම නිලධාරිගේ certificate එකකුත් ඕනේ. මොකද he will come and inspect whether you have an actual business. whether ඒක නම් තියෙන සිංහලෙන් මේ form එක. Because why? දැන් අපි දන්නවා ගොඩක් වෙලාවට මේ when you have the BR then it's easy for you to get a bank loan. ඉතින් සමහර අය කියන්නේ සමහර අය business එකක් නැත්තම් business එකක් තියනවා කියලා පුළුවන් නේද මේක ගන්න. So they can tell the banks I have this business. So to avoid that, දැන් ඔයා මේ application එක fill කරාලා ග්‍රාම නිලධාරි report එකක් ගන්නවනේ, he will come and inspect. ඇත්තට මේව business එකක් තියනවාද කියලා එයා අවිල්ලා බලනවා. Right? So then he'll do the registration. Correct. Right. I think you need to have this ග්‍රාම නිලධාරි certificate as well. ඊට වෙනම instructions දීලා තියෙනවා. මේ instructions නම් මම හිතන්නේ not in English language as I see. Let's check this out. No guys, so instructions now English will now, so I will show this as it is, right? This is one of a very difficulty that we face as a country, no? So if some things there that need to be in all three language or else it should be in a one language, which is English. English නම් හැමදේම English වලින් තියන්න ඕන නැත්නම් අනිත් තුනෙන්ම තියන්න ඕන. But This is not in English as I see, right? Here, if I click on that, here it's available in English, but instructions English වලින් දීලා නැහැ. Really unfair. Let's check whether it's available in Tamil language. No, right? It's very unfair. So only the home page they are showing. This is only the home page in Tamil. So let's say no, right? You see that, right? Only the home page that you're showing as a Tamil, but they are not converted. So let's see again. So English, but instructions not available in English or either Tamil. Really unfair. Somehow, okay. Somehow, guys, I believe you guys can read and understand. So no issue. ඉතින් මේම දේවල් කීපයක් තියෙනවා. So you have to fill this application and then stuff like that. මම අර කිව්වා වගේ මේ බලන්න. Nature of the business really important. Correct. If you are having like room facilities, like guest house, ඒවල මොන හරි අර report එකක් දෙන්න තියෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ මම අර කිව්වා pharmacy මොනාරි ඒ වගේ වලට වෙනම report එකක්. Then Ayurvedic treatments, ඒ වගේ දේවල්. සමහරට professional service like lawyers office, like architecture, ඒ වගේ තියෙන business lawyers office, මොනාරි වල professional tax මොනාරි ඒ වගේ service එකක්. This beauty care stuff like මම අර කිව්වා preschool and මොනාරි අපි කියන්නේ අර day care කියලා නේද? ඒ වගේ මොනාරි වලට ආට ඒ වගේ සහතික අවශ්‍ය වෙනවා. So then Gramlida report should be there, your national ID, and you have to confirm the business premises. If you are in a rent basis, you have to show that this what do you call that, rent agreement. I think on Metin Ayat charges is 500 still in the website, but I don't know whether this is up to date. But it says it's update as at 4th July. So the fee is 500 rupees. I think on වගේ දේවල් කීපයක් තියෙනවා. Correct. So we'll come back to our tute. So you can also check the website, guys, for additional information. මෙච්චර deeply ආන්නේ නැහැ, but මම ඔයාලට practically මේ දේවල් explain කරා. Okay, so now let's see how the registration process. How is the registration process? Right, මොනවද කියන්නේ? Obtaining an application form for the registration of business names of a sole proprietorship business from the divisional secretariat office of the AIS. What application form එක ගන්න වෙනවා. Obtaining report for the registration of a business name from the relevant Gram Niladhari. නම් Gram Niladhari report එකත් අවශ්‍යයි. Then what you need to do? So you have to correctly complete all the things. So submission of the completed registration form, the Gram Niladhari report, and hand over that to the relevant divisional secretary office. මේව හරියට fill කරලා දෙන්න ඕනේ. Then so the divisional secretary, අපි කියන්නේ ප්‍රාදේශීය ලේකම් නේ, the divisional secretary will inspect all these, and maybe like I said, if there's any additional license or additional documents or reports required as per the nature of the business, they will ask for you to submit. But if not, they will check everything and they will issue the certificate of registration. At අපි මේකට කියන BR එක කියලා, right? BR කියලා අපි කියනවා, right? BR එක issue කරනවා. සමහරට guys ඔයගොල්ලෝ මේක දැකලා ඇති. බලන්න සමහරට ඔය shops වල මම දැකලා තියෙනවා. ඔය salon වල, gym වල ඒ registration එක ඒගොල්ලෝ ගොඩක් වෙලාවට මේ frame කරලා එල්ලලා තියෙනවා, බිත්තිය ගහලා තියෙනවා. ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ BR එක business registration එක. බලන්න ඔයාත් ආපහු shop එකකට ගියාට පස්සේ සමහරට ඔයාත් notice කරලා ඇති. So that's about it, right? So I'm gonna share this point as well with you. Well, so that's about the solve partnership, guys. I'm not gonna start partnerships today. So just go through those stuff, and if you have any question, you can reach out. And at the same time, I have shared all the notes, screenshots to your group as well. And I'm going to share the past paper tute soft copy as well. So then you will receive both set of tutes, and then you can check what sort of a question. It's really important to check what sort of questions are being tested for the previous examinations, where you can measure your knowledge. So you can check and try out those questions, whether you can attempt to those. Right, guys. So thank you very much for joining, and we'll see you next week with the partnership lesson. Correct. Thank you.